Good morning, Pertam, and welcome back to a brand new episode here on Space Engineers. In the last video, we designed and built ourselves a mining rover so that we could grab more resources here on the planet, and we also set up the brand new automated crafting system here on the base. In between episodes, I have gone round and added some steel plates to the bottom of these cargo containers. So as you can see now, our air vents are fully pressurized. I have also gone through and grabbed some resources. So if we check into here, we now have quite a nice set of resources. We also have some silver, so we'll be able to get a medical station set up. And we also have a bunch of ores here ready for refining. Also, in between episodes, I did a little digging into our mods. So, when I first started the series, we had the Modular Encounters mod set up. Mostly just to add a bit more difficulty to the game. Just so we have ships flying overhead that could potentially attack us, or we could even go pirate for resources. But none of them seem to be showing up. Now, this was due to the aerodynamics mod. Now, I did try and get it to work together, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So I have taken out the aerodynamics mod. So if I come over here now, we now have a Parallax Obentide Mark II flying around. And we should start to see a few more ships flying around. Now, although that does make the world a bit more lively, it does mean we may have to set up some kind of defences here on the station now. Also because this is about the time I usually have some Reavers spawning. So, today what I'm thinking we do is we do a bit of a base episode. So we'll finish up kind of setting out a few things here on the base, and we'll also look at setting up a defense system just so we can protect the base as well. You can see now we have 100 medical components in. So what I'm thinking is over here we can set up one of the medical rooms. Now, that one has a bit on the top and bottom, but I do kind of like the look of this one. So, what I'm thinking is we have this conveyor running here. So, what we might do is we might take out that one and then run it up as a pipe up and into a medical station up here. Now, I think instead of using the standard conveyor, what I think we'll do is we'll use some of these pipe ones. Just, yeah, because we have the pipe junction there. So if we put the junction there, and then we can run pipe all the way and into there. Yeah, I think that looks good. So with that piped up now, we should just be able to go into here and add our medical room. Another thing is I did grab some ice from the little oasis we have down there. So our hydrogen here is at 28%, and we also have oxygen at 92%. Not sure why it's filled up the oxygen more than the hydrogen, but hey ho. Okay, and what I am thinking in terms of defense, what we can do is if I come out here quickly. So we have this little ridge here just over the base. So what I'm thinking is we could probably set up some kind of just turret station up on here. And that should give us a pretty good kind of defense just for the start of the game. In terms of defense, what I'm thinking is if we set up just a few little turrets on that ridge, that should kind of get us protected, at least for a little while, and we can kind of upgrade from there. So what I'm thinking is, I think if we go for one of these kind of Gatling turrets, and that'll help defend us, because you can kind of see in the description if we go to here, dedicated to anti-missiles. So that should help if we have any kind of Reavers coming in with missile turrets. We have a look at these Hofund kinetic turrets, because they say, like, see, they say that they're effective against armor. If we also get our own little missile turrets as well. So I'll probably end up doing it where we have one of these kinetic turrets flanked by a pair of missile turrets and these G2 turrets. What we can do is we can just kind of come here, and if we just set up like basically where we want the turrets to be, and from there we can kind of figure out the internals and look at, well, essentially just how we want everything set out. So in terms of structure, what I'm thinking is if we start off with that main turret, and then we put 4 blocks in between each one, and then actually if we do 3 for these outside too. So what we can do is put that one there, and then we flank it by the 2 missile turrets, and then we put the kind of Gatling-ish turrets either side of it, like there. In terms of shape, what I'm thinking is if we do it kind of like this, where we have the 5x5 in the middle, and then running 3x3 across, and then we just kind of run it down gently to the kind of ground here. So then what we can do is we can fill most of the like base of it with some batteries, and possibly even a few hydrogen generators just to kind of refill the batteries when they get low. Yeah, I think I like that idea, because what we can do is we can set up some batteries to actually power the thing, and then just run it off some hydrogen engines with like an O2H2 generator and some tanks. And then we can connect up to an event controller and just have it run when the batteries get low and turn them off when the batteries are full again. In terms of design, I was thinking of doing it that way to start off with, but what I'm thinking is instead of building up, actually I can put those back in just for now, just so I have something to build off of. Okay, so that is the basic shape of what I'm thinking. So what I'll do is I will just build it all the way around, and I will bring you back when we have that sorted. This is kind of the basic shape that I am thinking of. So what we'll do is, in terms of internals, we've got quite a lot of space here on the inside. So what I'm thinking is, for each of the turrets, we'll add a cargo container on the bottom. And then what we can do is we can put in a sorter on each one of these. And what that'll do is that'll just pull all the relevant ammo into the right cargo containers. What I can do is I can set like the hydrogen engines and the O2H2 down in this section. The other thing I'm going to add is we're probably going to put in some build and repair systems as well. Just so when this bit does get damaged, we can just load it with some resources and it will repair itself from there. Okay, so in terms of the power, what we can do is if we put two O2H2 generators like this, and those two will connect up to each other. And then on top, what we can do is we can use these new hydrogen engines, not engines, the hydrogen tanks. Put one in there, and then we can attach that to the hydrogen engines. That is pretty much everything planned out. What I might leave this gap here and just add a door to it so we can kind of get access in and out of here. But what I've done is we've kind of put batteries all over the floor here. So these will be like the main power systems for everything. So here's the kind of conveyor system that we've got set up. So you can kind of see we've got these two larger cargo containers that are probably going to just be filled with resources and ice. And then each one of these loops here is going to be the O2H2 generators, and then we've got a hydrogen tank and a hydrogen engine to kind of fill up the batteries when they get low. All we'll need to do now is just weld it all up and go from there. But not gonna lie, I'm not going to do this by hand. So what we're going to do is I took a blueprint of our little mining rover here. So what we can do is we can use a projector. We build up another one, and then what we'll do is we'll convert it from a mining ship, put a couple of build and repair systems on it, and then we can just drive the rover over it and use the build and repair system from that. Now, my new favourite part of the fieldwork update is I, in personal series, use a lot of the projectors, and I've always had a problem with them because it doesn't tell you which way to put them. But in the last update, you can see they updated the texture of the projector to have this left, right, and forward arrows on it. So now I can actually place it down, and that projector will now be in the right orientation. Now, what we'll do now is I could probably do this from the cockpit here, but first off, we turn off the build and repair system just so we get the projector in the right orientation. And go here into blueprints. Find the drill rover. So yeah, you can see it's not the right way around. So what we'll do is bring it forward, and then what I can do is I can just build out from here and connect it up. Now, what I'm going to do is, because these two rovers are going to be pretty similar, what I'm going to do quickly is I'm just going to repaint this one. Okay, so the projector is now done. So what we can do is I'm just going to jump in the cockpit here. Put the wheels all the way down. And what we should be able to do is just boop. Ta-da! And effectively, all we need to do now is just convert this to the build and repair ship. And we'll just let it build these up. While it does that, I think what we'll do is for this one, we'll change it to yellow and we'll apply this hazard armor to it. So effectively then, that looks kind of cool like that. Okay, so if I turn this on now, you can see it's just gonna stay here and build up a bunch of the stuff inside here. Now I'll prioritize stuff like the batteries here, and it'll build up the armor last, but what we'll do now is I will just build up this with the ship and bring you back when we're all sorted.
2 hours later.
So that took a little bit longer than I expected, but it is all done now. While it was running, I have filled up the cargo containers with ammo, and we've also set up the event controllers to control the hydrogen engines. And I have added a little bit of ice in there, so this should be ready to go. I have reduced the kind of targeting distance for the turrets, because they were trying to fire at, if you come over here, they were trying to fire at this Earwig Ridge, so all they were doing was they were just slamming the weapons into the side of the hill here and wasting my resources. So I've reduced the targeting distance for them, and we should be all good from now on. Maybe in the next episode or the episode after, we'll probably see at heading over to that Ewig Ridge. For the rest of this episode, however, I do feel like we could possibly start work on the main base, because at this point in time, this kind of starter base, I'm quite happy with how it is at the minute. I mean, if you think there's anything I've missed, let me know, but I think for now this is actually pretty good. What I'm thinking for the main base is this has kind of got multiple levels of elevation on it. So I'm thinking we'll probably set up one floor here, and maybe even a floor here. We will probably also build into the ground as well and put some like critical systems, so once we get like a reactor or something set up like that, we can set that up. And also, if we put kind of part of the building here, what we can do is we could quite literally just pipe down and set up some kind of ice pickup system around here, and yeah, just pipe it straight up into the base. What I think we'll start with is we'll probably start with this like lowest section, and if we just angle it towards that, for this base we will kind of just follow pretty much the outline of the hillside here. What we can do is we can kind of, from there, we can look at setting up different sections. And it kind of saves us from what I normally end up doing, which is usually I just end up building quite a boxy base. So rather than having a specific shape base, I've kind of set out a little bit of where I want the kind of first layer to sit. We're definitely going to need the pipes kind of coming out of like this bit here. So what I'll do is I think we'll just kind of fill out this section, see how much space we can get in. Because if I fully flatten this bit out, what we can do is we can have it where the pipes come in, and then potentially even set up some like O2H2 generators around this area. So it's kind of as soon as the ice is coming in, it's getting converted into hydrogen straight away for everything else we need. Okay, I definitely feel like at least this area here is going to be enough space for us to have,
Fuel low.
like I said, our like O2H2 generators set up, and then we can put the pipe all the way down into that little oasis, and that should be enough to kind of supply our base with more than enough ice for what we need. And what we can do is we can just kind of place them down and figure out where we want them. If we start off, we can kind of grab this corner piece and we can connect those up there. And then we put a straight in here, and then literally just have it where the pipes go into those two bits there. So a few of you might be saying at this point that it's a bit unnecessary for me to be putting in 2 lines of pipes in here, but to be honest, it is more just for redundancy's sake. Because what I can do is, if I put that straight connector in when I build up one of these kind of support legs, what that'll mean is if any kind of small section of these gets taken out, it can still transfer between either of them. Now, this bit doesn't look the greatest with how the pipes are kind of zigzagging down. Personally, I wish there was some kind of more diagonal looking pipe blocks, but it's the best we've got right now. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll cap it off there, and what I'm thinking is we could quite easily just put in 3 of the drills here, and what we can do is we can just set them to run and then just move them around as of when they run out of ice. We will just box it up here, and that should look fine and work quite well. Yeah, so the drills are set up there, and as you can see, the pipes are running just up the hill now into the section. And what we can do now is we can just set up some O2H2 generators up here. So in terms of our O2H2, what I'm thinking is we'll probably end up doing a similar setup to what we had over there at the defensive installation, where I'll set up 2 O2H2 generators and then attach the hydrogen tanks directly to them. I have put quite a few of these small hydrogen tanks here, but we may also look at putting some of the large hydrogen tanks on the base as well somewhere. Ooh. Oh, 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 oh. We have a Reaver inbound. It's flying away. It's not noticing us. Notice me, senpai! Senpai! Notice me! Yeah, the other issue is, at this point, we also don't have any oxygen tanks. So what I might do quickly is we could probably add just a few oxygen tanks here as well. We won't do as many, but that should work for what we need. So you can see we've got hydrogen, 2 sets of hydrogen and 1 set of oxygen. Now that should be more than enough, but if we need any more, I can just add some large grid ones somewhere. Okay, so that feels like a good place to finish. We have done quite a lot in this episode. If you have any suggestions for anything we can do to potentially upgrade the plan that we have for the main base, or any ideas for the defensive installation to improve that as well, leave a comment down below. And also let me know if you'd like to see me next episode, see if we could go after this Earwig Ridge. But with that, if you have enjoyed today's episode, a like is greatly appreciated. And if you want to stay up to date on our latest releases, do consider subscribing, as that helps. And like I said, if you have any ideas for any upgrades or anything I might have missed in this episode, leave a comment down below. But with that, I've been Ben, this is Delirious Gaming, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.